Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, glory, and honor to the Most High God Yahweh. By Shema Mashiach, Kwam like Yahweh Shah. Want to give a strong shalom to all the brothers and sisters who are doing everything they got to stay 10 toes grounded in this walk, whether it's praying, fasting, reading, studying, being keepers of the household, going to camp, keeping the feast days, everything they can to make their calling and election sure. I just want to do a quick daily bread this day, man, to talk about, one of the main things that our people go through on a daily basis, man, and it's sin. And most importantly, it's that sin that actually comes from what you manifest in your heart and what you, allow to actually come out of your mouth, man. It's the words you say that can condemn you in these last days. I'm going to kick it off with Genesis, go to chapter 4, and I'm going to start at 6, because we all kind of know the story of Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel, they had to give up an offering to the Lord, but the Most High, he was more satisfied with Abel's offering than Cain's. And then Cain, he wanted vengeance, he got kind of angry with the Lord because he didn't respect his offering as much. So I'm just kind of going to the end of that. Genesis 4 and verse 6. And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, thou shalt not be accepted. And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. So if you ain't wanting to do well, if you looking into that wickedness, if you letting anger, if you letting hate, if you letting malice, envy, all these kind of things resonate in your spirit, eventually it's going to catch up with you, man. And like the scriptures say, sin is lying at your door, man. I say, because that sin, it's hard. That sin comes in a number of spirits. But we all know that anger and greed and pride, that's one of the things that condemn a man the most, man. I'm going to go to Proverbs chapter 17. I'm going to go to verse 11. An evil man seeketh only rebellion, therefore a cruel messenger shall be sent against him. It said, the Lord said he'll send an evil angel against you, man. And it's all because an evil man seeketh rebellion. And that's what Abel did in that situation. He rebelled against the Most High. He got wroth, and wanted to take it out on his brother. It wasn't his brother's fault. His brother did what he thought was righteous, what he deemed right. He did what the Most High required of him. And because Abel felt like he fell short, he wanted to get that get back on his brother, man. And that's off. That's breaking the commandment. Leviticus, I'm gonna go ahead and grab it right quick. Leviticus 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. So we got to not hate our brothers, man. And that's showing love. And how do we show love, man? With not having a cruel heart, not having wicked intentions behind our actions, not having a wicked recompense come because of the things that manifest in our heart, manifest in our mind. I'm going to go back to that Proverbs 17, go to 12. And let a bird robbed of her whelps meet a man rather than a fool in his folly. So that's how the Lord will get you, man. He'll have the animals that's coming out of the trees, the ones that's normally just hiding during the day while the sun is up. And he come out, man, and he'll destroy you. He said, and that's what a fool is in his folly. He's looking to be destroyed. He's looking for the Most High God to take him out. Verse 13, whoso rewardeth evil for good, evil shall not depart from his house. And once you let that spirit in, man, that spirit ain't going to leave. He going to sup with you. He going to always be around. He gonna be like Dave Chappelle when he was playing Rick James. And he sat there and just came in. He's like, nice place. He kicked up his feet up on the couch, man. Just started reclining. And he just came in there and I can't think of the one scripture where it was talking about that he said that a spirit will find a temple that's just empty. Ain't no other spirits in, so he go get 7 more wicked like himself and come back. And now you're dealing with all kind of other spirits, man. We go to Sirach chapter 21 and start from the top. My son, hast thou sinned? Do so no more. but ask pardon for thy former sins. So you got to ask forgiveness for things like that. You got to repent when you're in a situation like that. You know, that spirit may hop up on you real quick and you want to go off and you want to do something wicked and evil, you know, and then after you do that, you got to self-examine yourself and realize, dang, man, I shouldn't have done that. That was off, you know, and then you got to sin no more, man. A just man gonna fall 7 times. You know, that there's nobody that hasn't sinned before. There's nobody in the truth that don't end up sinning. You know, everybody, we want to strive to be perfect, but you're going to fall short. You're going to fall off the wagon sometimes, but sometimes you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, man, and get back in this thing. Verse 2, flee from sin as from the face of a serpent, for if thou comest too near it, it will bite thee, and the teeth thereof are as the teeth of a lion, slaying the souls of men. So you want to actually flee from that face of evil, man. When you see sin coming, you got to be able to recognize it. Like, no, that's sin. I know you. I know what you're about, man. And you gotta flee from that thing like a serpent. If you find a snake just slithering around like while you in here in the shop, look down, it's a snake. You're not just gonna sit there and just be like, oh, yeah, I ain't worried about that thing, man. Yeah. You know, you're trying to sit there and look at it and be like, oh, it's colorful. That one ain't poisonous. I mean, you get the hell up out of there. You don't sit there and play with that thing, man. That's Esau kind of activity. Verse 3, all iniquity is as a two-edged sword. The wounds thereof cannot be healed. Said that iniquity is a two-edged sword, man. Once it pierces you, you be over with, man. The Lord can take you out of this thing. The Lord can give you over to that reprobate mind. It says, so before it actually gets to that point, man, you want to be examining yourself. Being able to realize what that sin is and get rid of it, man. Throw it behind you. Cast it behind you like Christ had to do Peter, man. So, hey, get thee behind me, Satan. That's all. Job chapter 15 and verse 14. What is man that he should be clean? And he which is born of a woman that should be righteous. Behold, he putteth no trust in his saints. Yea, the heavens are not clean in his sight. So the Lord said, not even the heavens are clean in his sight. So he already know that man is going to go off. Verse 16, how much more abominable and filthy is man which drinketh iniquity like water, Salaki. I said, and our people, they love drinking iniquity like it's water, man. The same way that when you out taking a long walk, it's hot outside, you come in and you really need that water. That's how much our people love being engulfed in sin. They love letting that anger, that hatred, that envy, that pride, they love letting it build up inside them until it be like an abscess or like a boil, and it just come to a head and pop, man. You know, before you get to that point where you pop, you want to self-examine yourself, man. I'm going to go to Psalms chapter 59 and verse 12. For the sin of their mouth and the words of their lips, let them even be taken in their pride. Said, see that? Said, and that pride is what gets you jammed up. Said, as soon as you had them wicked thoughts, man, it's the pride to be like, hey, you know, got your chest puffed up, got you thinking wickedness, got you think, hey, nothing gonna happen to me. Hey, man, I'm with the Lord. Even though you moving, you know, with a damn wicked spirit, man. That's not of the Lord. Say, and for cursing and lying, which they speak. And that's what happened with Cain and Abel. You know, after he had slayed Cain. I mean, after Cain had slayed Abel, it's like that when the Lord approached him, that he was like, hey, am I my brother's keeper? You know, that's off. He said, you can't have the cursing and lying which thou speak, man. You can't have that in your heart. We already went into the law where it said, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart, man. So you can't be like that. Verse 13. Consume them in wrath, consume them, and that they may not be, and let them know that God ruleth in Jacob unto the ends of the earth. It says, so you're going to get consumed in that day, man, leaning on your own understanding, wanting to be wicked. I'm going to go back to Job 15, because this Job 15 is a heavy chapter, you know. This is verse 3, Job 15 and 3. Should he reason with unprofitable talk, or with speeches wherewith he can do no good? This is Eliphaz talking. It says, should he reason with unprofitable talk, or with the speeches wherewith can do no good? It said, you want to have unprofitable talk? Or do you want to be just sitting here just saying God knows what? Just speaking whatever vile thing comes out of your mouth, man? Or do you want to have profitable talk, talking about the word, talk about the breakdown, talk about the law, statutes, and commandments? How we supposed to be loving each other in these last days, man? Verse 4, yea, thou castest off fear and restraining prayer before Yahweh. For thy mouth uttereth thine iniquity, and thou choosest the tongue of the crafty. So you can't let your mouth, condemn you, go against you. Read that one more time. For thy mouth uttereth thine iniquity, and thou choosest the tongue of the crafty. So you can't just spit whatever iniquity you want, man. You want to be able to confess your iniquities. That's the only time that iniquity should come out of your mouth, is when you're telling the Most High, where you went off, and when you asking for forgiveness and where you went off at, man. You don't want to have the tongue of the crafty. It's just saying slick stuff. Slick talk is what they call it in the world. You're just sitting here saying things that are wicked as hell, but you try to say it in a smooth way. That's off. Verse 6, thine own mouth condemneth thee, and not I. Yea, thy own lips testify against thee. So your own lips is going to testify right against you, man, because you just want to say whatever you want. That's off. Them lips is going to testify against you, because that's against everything that the Most High stands for, man. It's against all the laws, statutes, and commandments. I'm going to jump down to verse 31. Let not him that is deceived trust in vanity, for vanity shall be his recompense. So you don't want to be deceived by the vanity of this world, man, because that's what the world promotes. It promotes that pride. It promotes that the envy, the hatred. That's what all the music is. That's what all the TV shows are. That's all you see on the commercials. That's all you hear when you go out in the public. Everything is wickedness in this world from the top to the bottom. Verse 32, Slaki. It shall be accomplished before his time, and his branch shall not be green. So that's just showing, how when you grow in a plant, if your plant if all the stems and all the branches and leaves, everything is all green, it's going good. But as soon as it starts turning bad, that means it's dying off. So you want to be like a tree. You want to be rooted in these laws, statutes, and commandments. You want to be rooted and grounded in your walk. Therefore, all your fruits are gonna show. All your fruits are gonna bear more seed and just end up being spread, out more and more in these last days. And then you lifting up the next brother, you lifting up the next sister. This truth is going out, and all the 12 tribes, they getting back together. They finally being that one stick. Verse 33, he shall shake off his unripe grape as the vine, and shall cast off his flower as the olive. So you want to shake off the unripe stuff. If you got a vineyard in your backyard, you growing grapes, you're not gonna go out there and start picking up all the ones that look like raisins. You want to sit there and gather up all the ones that's nice and fat, juicy, they firm, they plump. That's the things you want to do. You're gonna cast off all the unripe stuff. You're gonna throw that back to the ground. You're gonna leave that out there for the animals to eat up. Verse 34, for the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate. And all hypocrites are going to be desolate in these last days. When the Lord come back and start raining missile fire throughout this whole land, man, all the hypocrites, they're going to be gone. They're going to get taken up out of here. This land is finally going to be desolate of wickedness, man, when the righteous are in charge. Because when the wicked are in charge, the people mourn. But when the righteous in charge, man, the people rejoice. Reading on, say, for the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery. And we already know how much bribery goes out throughout the nation, man. That's why when you read these laws, statutes, and commandments, there's laws on usury. You ain't supposed to take usury upon your brothers. But that's what these politicians base their life off of. You donate money to these organizations and to these political runs, and people can be bought, man. But you can't buy the man of the Lord. If a brother get bought, he's not in the truth, man. He is not of Yahweh Yahweh Shai. If a brother can be bought, man, he's not useful. He's that unripe vine, man, that's gonna get cast off, Salaki. Verse 35, they conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepared deceit. So your belly prepares that deceit. That's how you know that when the scriptures talk about your heart, it's not actually talking about the organ that's inside your chest that's pumping blood. It's talking about your mind, man. It said from deep down is where you get that deceit from. You got to let that deceit has to marinate. It don't just come up out of nowhere. You're not just sitting there in the house and just out of nowhere you like, damn, why I got this spirit of deceit on me, man? Why I got this spirit of vanity on me? No, man, that's been there. That don't just pop up out the woodworks, man. Just out of nowhere, all of a sudden, that's how you move. That's off. Book of Psalms, chapter 52 and verse 2. The tongue deviseth mischiefs like a sharp razor working deceitfully. So in that tongue, it'll cut you up. So we just read where it said that it's a two-edged sword. That thing will cut you up, man. It's a sharp razor. So that tongue, it'll cut you without you even knowing, without you expecting it. You don't see it coming. It just kind of sneak up on you like that serpent that we was talking about. Just kind of slither, and then next thing you know, you're bleeding out all over the place, and you look back and it's a trail. And that trail of blood, that's your sins, man. They following you. They lingering. There's spirits that are just behind you, that are walking with you. They trying to sup with you, man. But you won't let them go, and they just there. They just hanging out. You just letting them remain instead of actually getting rid of them, casting them off forever in the outer darkness, rebuking them. Verse 3, thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness. You got to love lying to be at that point. Anything else is just madness. Because when we go to the words of Yahushua, we automatically know that that's folly. We already know that you can't love evil. Said, because this is John 14 and 15, say, if ye love me, keep my commandments. Say, and I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another comforter, that ye may abide with you forever. Even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it seeth him not, Salakia, neither knoweth him, but ye know him, for he dwelleth with you, and shall be in you. And that's how you know you got the love of Christ, man. If you don't love evil, if you love righteousness, if you love speaking righteousness to one another, if you ain't backbiting, if you're not murmuring against the next brother, if you're not can't think of the word I'm trying to use. If you like gossiping about another brother, if brother telling you stuff, information that he trusts you with, and then next thing you know, somebody else coming back to him with that same information, he gonna know that you ran your mouth. He gonna be like, damn, well, I ain't tell nobody else, so how'd they get back to me? It's because you out there spreading rumors, man. Numbers chapter 20 and verse 7. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, take the rod and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give you forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock, so thou shalt give the congregation and their beasts drink. So this was the Lord dealing with Moses when they were in the wilderness and they were sitting there begging for something to drink. The Lord told Moses that if he speak to the rock, that he would make water come out of it, and he would give them something to drink. But let's see how Moses react to that. They're gonna see if Moses was acting in righteousness, or if he let a prideful or envy spirit come upon him. And Moses took the rod from before the Lord as he commanded him, and Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock, and he said unto them, hear now, ye rebels, must we fetch you water out of this rock? So you can kind of tell by the way he was talking, man, that Moses was getting kind of fed up. He was getting tired of Israel. Because what was Israel doing when they was in the wilderness? They were murmuring. They were always complaining. Every time they went through anything, when the Lord had finally given them some food, when they was hungry, he gave them manna. They was eating on the manna for a while. They was kind of digging it. They liked it. They was like, oh, it's sweet. We getting this manna from heaven. And then after so long, they was like, hey, man, we tired of eating that. We need some meat. And then throughout all those times, they kept telling Moses, hey, man, what you bring us out here so we can die? You brought us in the wilderness. While we was in Egypt, we had it good. We had food. We had something to drink. You know, the Egyptians, they was taking care of us. We was living it up. That's how our people is right now to this very day. There's no new thing under the sun, man. Our people are the same as the days of Moses. They the same as the days of when Joshua was here. The same days when Jeremiah and Isaiah and Ezekiel and Nahum and, you know, when all the forefathers was here, man. Our people are the same way that they were back then. They murmur because they're not thankful for the things that they got. So verse 10 said, Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock, and he said unto them, Hear now, ye rebels, must we fetch you water out of the rock? And he's sitting there, hey, said, here y'all, fill in the blank. Here y'all inwards go, complaining again, being rebels of the Most High, man, and now I got to fetch y'all water out of this rock. Verse 11, and Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. So when you actually go back a couple verses, said, did the Lord tell Moses to smite the rock, or did he tell him to talk to it? Go back up to verse 8. Take the rod and gather thou the assemblies together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth the water. So the Lord was trying to tell them, hey, if you just talk to the rock, I'm going to show the Israelites these miracles that I'm allowing you to perform via the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Said, but instead, verse 11, and Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. So Moses, he did two things there, man. He already was shaking the hand at his people. He wasn't long suffering. He didn't have patience. And then he ended up hitting the rock twice instead of just, throwing up a prayer and the rock just cracking open and water coming out of it. So verse 12, and the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, because ye believe me not to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. So you don't want to be cast off like Moses did, man. Moses had to he couldn't go to the promised land. He had to build up Joshua after this to lead the people into the land, man. Said because of this one thing, Moses was on a hot streak. He was doing what the Lord required of him. But then what happened? He fell short because he got impatient. Because he wasn't long suffering enough with the people, man. So we gotta have patience with our people. We gotta be long suffering. We gotta, be able to endure all the things that we gotta go to, especially dealing with these the wicked thoughts that we have. It's all spirits, man. All of it is spiritual. So like it. Had to turn the heater off, man. That thing ain't been on in I don't know how long. It didn't come on as soon as I'm doing the video. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 2. Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. So them spirits you got to deal with, man, those are all vanity. To say all of that stuff is vanity. Verse 3. What profit hath the man of all his labor which he taketh under the sun? Said, and that's labor. Like giving in to those spirits, that's putting in work. It's way easier to just cast off that spirit and put it behind you and not deal with it than to sit here and just manifest in it, to actually apply the things that these wicked spirits are telling you to do, these wicked actions that these spirits are trying to have you to perform. Verse 4, one generation passes away and another, that's like it. That's it. I'm going to drop that one. I'm going to pull this one. I'm going to close up. Ecclesiastes, I'm going to say Ecclesiastes 1. I'm going to drop down to 14. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit. That which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered. So we got to cast off all these things of the past, man. Cast off all these wicked spirits, all these wicked doctrines, man. And we got to get back to loving one another, because that's one of the things that the Lord is totally against, man. I'm actually pull one more. Because the book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 16. These 6 things doeth the Lord hate. Yeah, 7 are an abomination unto him. And the main ones, a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. It's a heart that devises wicked imaginations, feet that be swift and run into mischief, and false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. Verse 20, this the moral of the story. My son, keep the father's commandments and forsake not the law of thy mother. Says, so if you don't forsake the law of thy mother, man, and our mother being wisdom, if you keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, and you applying that wisdom, it's going to be a light to our path, man. Said, and that actually makes me think about another precept here too. It's still in Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 18. But the path of the just is as a shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. The way of the wicked is as darkness, and they know not what they stumble. So our people, they get jammed up and they stumble when they gotta try to face these wicked spirits alone. When they don't cast them wicked spirits behind. When they think that they can just move past it and act like it ain't there. Like you walk into a room and, it's stuff all over the place and you try to just inch past it. You can't do that with these spirits, man. You can't just inch past these spirits. You got to cast them off. And then you got to be able to actually realize when that spirit is coming back. Because he's not going to just leave. The Satan is not going to just flee. He's going to run away for a season and then he's going to be back, man. So we got to actually move just like Yahushua and be able to cast that thing off, man. Endure all trials and temptations in this walk, man. Because he doesn't endure it until the end, the same is going to be saved, man. But with that, I hope that y'all were edified, giving all praises, glory, and honor to the Most High God, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Until next time, Shalom.